Team who's in the session. This is going to be a work session, so you need to enable your voice and share your voice and the video. So you need to join. I can see there are about more than 10 people in the viewing state, but there are only few in the open space. So you can share your voice and video, enable your audio and video.
Yes, participation is encouraged. Thanks, Mamita.
Yeah, so I think those 11 of, I hope so in a nutshell, welcome guys. Are we starting or do you want to wait more as well?
Let's start, right? Let me give you the introduction.
Okay.
So hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone who's joining. So this is going to be a workshop session done by Kuram. I encourage everyone to switch your cameras and mics on. So I'm going to do an introduction and just take you all through how the workshops will happen on this platform. So essentially, when you move between workshops and breakout rooms, your cameras and your mics are switched on. So just be aware of that. Before you go into the room, you're given an option. So please just select that, and you will have to enable your mic and camera, or whichever one you would like when you move in and out of the room, right? Kuram, I'm really honored to introduce Kuram, who's on a mission. Our mission is to help become a thinking team and a learning organization. Kuram is experienced agile coach, trainer with over 20 years of experience. He has worked in telecom, software, asset management, data privacy, and fintech domains. He is a Scrum Alliance certified team coach and an IC Agile authorized instructor. He is a founder of Coaching a Potential and co-founder of Pakistan Agile Scrum Exchange. Kuram has been working in spread agile and Scrum awareness in Pakistan since 2017. He has served in program advisory team in Global Scrum Gathering Denver and the Scrum Squad in Global Scrum Gathering Lisbon. So I'm very happy to hand over the session to you, Kuram. I'm very excited for the session. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much, Joel, for a nice introduction. So I see some people are viewing. My invitation to you is to please, if it's okay, please turn on the video, just like Cam has done it, so we can see and make a human connection. It's a kind of a workshop where we get to have a conversation together. So if I will be talking all the time, that might not be useful. But if there is a possibility, turn on the video, and let me share the screen so we can I can take you through what we'll be doing in this session. All right, so this is the brief introduction. I don't need to go through it again, but these are the different organizations I have worked with, and some of the overview of the experience. I don't want to go into details you has already shared. Then I will also be sharing the link with you with the mural board, but I just want to start with a few things for this workshop. How many of you, and if you can unmute yourself and you can say it in the audio, and you can also share your thoughts in the chat. That option is also available. So let's try to make it interactive as much as possible. So the workshop agreements that I want to set up, if you want to add, remove, or update something, that's totally fine, is that please come with an open mind. So it is sometime when we are having conversation, we might have a different opinion, is totally fine, but that's why we are here to learn. Come with the curiosity to learn. We are discussing ideas, we are discussing different thinkings and the thoughts. So it's good that you come with an open mind and curiosity. Whatever opinions I share and you also share are partially right. This is the whole purpose of having the workshop, so we can learn from each other. Honor the silent voices. So those of you who haven't been spoken for a while, uh, I invite you to please also unmute yourself now and then to be heard, because then it will be more beneficial for not only for you but also for the participants. Uh, that's what I covered, and these are some of the points that I wanted to highlight uh, in the workshop. Is there anything else that you want to highlight, or if you agree, you can just say thumbs up. I'm happy, and we can step forward. Everyone happy with that? All right. And then the next thing is, this is the point there you might need to unmute yourself or share. Thanks, Cam, for sharing a good demonstration of using the chat. What do you see in this picture? What do you see?
I see a fish.
I see a
Uh,
goldfish.
yeah, I don't know. I don't also know that I don't know the type, but Hassan said he sees a fish. What else do you see?
It's an aquarium in which other fishes are also there.
Okay, it's an aquarium where there are other fishes. Any other thoughts?
He's in a tank and he's trying to get out.
Okay, it's in a tank and it's trying to get out. Could be possible. You never know. Let's hear one more thought.
I can see a kind of a risk there because there's another fish coming towards him.
Okay, so those are the observation. Now, why? So this is the team workshop, and I'm showing you fish. I'm not trying to sell you fish, but I'm just trying. And let's try to make a connection with the fish. Um, did anyone see that there is water? Okay, so the fish is not flying, right? So the fish is swimming, but there is a water. Usually, what happens is that now and then the person said that the fish tank. What happens is that now and then people take the fish out from the aquarium, put it outside, clean it, beautify it, and put it into the same tank. But no one realizes that the water in the tank is also needs to be cleaned. No one pays attention because no one is seeing it. Everyone is seeing the fish, but no one is seeing in the water. But could we relate it to the perspective that you might have come to this event or you might have taken a course somewhere else, so or your manager or your organization has asked you to, hey, you need to go and take this scrum course, or you need to go and take this product course, and when you go there, a lot of excitement is there. You learn many things about scrum and agile, about leadership coaching and whatnot. And then what happens with all that new knowledge and awareness, you are back into the same tank, you are back into the same company culture, and then you are struggling, what should I do? And this is one of the questions that I often hear. Huram, I know Scrum. I have now after this Scrum course, I understand the Scrum framework. But when we have the follow-up conversation, they say that, hey, their organization is not letting them to apply Scrum. And that is the dirty water no one is looking into. Yeah, but let's move forward. I will come back to this metaphor again. But now I would like you to do, I need your help, is I am sharing, yeah, so I'm sharing the link in the chat. Okay. What I would like you to do, this is something that we need to be involved. Please join that link. And what I would like you to do is to, what are the attributes of the best team you have worked with? Okay, that is the question I would like you to answer. But before we start doing that, can you all access the mural board? Okay, I see these icons coming up. So please open that link. You don't need any privileges. It's already customized for the workshop. And the easiest way to do is to just double click on the screen anywhere. Just double click and you can start writing. So I will give you a 2 minutes timer. What I would like you to do is write down the attributes of the best team that you have worked with. I will start the timer. Is it clear? Any questions? Okay, so I will start 2 minutes timer, and when the timer is up, then we will take a look. Yeah, great work so far. Put a few more. Tell about the people as well. What were the people? What about the people that you liked in that team? Okay, there are a number of thoughts coming up. Let me quickly go through. They are helping each other. They are consistently deliver, predictable, highly motivated, self-managed, focused. Yeah, so that's good enough. Uh, okay, let's honest and uh, so I don't should be saying right now. And transparent. Yeah, so these are the attributes of the best team that you have worked with. I have been working with this with the team with the similar attributes, but I have seen often them failing a lot. So there was a kind of situation. I started wondering, like, okay, I am working with very talented people. They are focused, they are honest and transparent. But what is the reason that they are failing? What is the problem that they're unable to deliver? And what is the reason that they are unable to work together as a team? So I still remember this. Um, this quote from I think it's from Apple's founder. I quickly forgot the name. Is that we don't hire best people, so we tell them what to do. Steve Jobs, yeah. So Steve Jobs said that we don't hire best people and we tell them what to do. We hire best people so they come and tell us what to do. So there are like two different things that I have been noticing, and that is one thing that in this workshop, I intend to dissect what happens inside the team, that you as a scrum master or as a new leader to the team can use those lenses and try to diagnose what and how, in what way you can help your team. So another question to you, yeah. So do you recall a situation where you wanted to share an idea or a thought, but you didn't or couldn't do it? And what was the reason that you couldn't share your thought? Either you can unmute yourself and share, or you can also leave a comment in the chat, and I can read it out for you. And if you need any help to unmute your audio, Jewel is here to help us.
If anyone is having problems unmuting, just drop it in chat and I can help with the admins.
So any thoughts? Okay, did not think my idea would be considered valuable. That's Andrea has shared. Okay, so that was a kind of a limitation she thought. What was any other reason? Okay, so now here is the thing. In order for us to make this workshop as effective as possible, what I need from you, what I expect from you is participation. Otherwise, I don't want to be speaking all the time, and we will lose the purpose or the focus of the workshop. And the whole purpose of the workshop is to have this collaborative conversation. Brilliant. So some more people have shared that. By the time I made my mind to spell it out, time has run out. Worried about the judgment. Cam said manager didn't want input. So these are the reasons that you have shared that didn't let you. I didn't feel safe to share. Yeah, good. So the tape that you're the tape that you're seeing on this picture is a kind of is a visual metaphor. It's a physical thing that we have, but even there, but this could also be on our thoughts, that sometimes we know that this is a good idea and this could contribute to the challenge. We have this concern that you shared, that how I will be judged. The time was running out. The manager didn't want the input, and want to repeat. Yeah. Kemser told it was a career limiting move to ask the question. So all these questions are there. But remember, coming back to the fish metaphor, um, um, oh, this one is that we are focusing on the fish all the time, but we overlook the aspect where the fish is living. And what you're mentioning here are the aspects that are the behaviors that no one is taking looking into. So the next thing is I will know I will be I will be uh, now I can share where it started for me. Uh, many years ago, when I started working as a Scrum Master, I was exploring, I was learning new things, and one particular incident that I remember till now is that we had my team. We were working on a new feature, and once we have developed the feature for the product, when it was time to release it, we got to know that there is a serious issue of the compatibility, that we cannot release our feature and it cannot be made available to the clients to update. So that was a kind of a serious situation. Our clients were looking for us for the new version. What we did, like we had an internal conversation in the team, and we explored, okay, what could be the different possibilities that we can overcome this challenge. But then someone said that, okay, the CTO, the current CTO, the person has worked on the code base already, so perhaps we can get in touch with the person and get some feedback. So now let's imagine a situation. There are like 10 developers sitting together with the senior architecture experienced people. The CTO comes in, listen to the conversation in the 5 minutes, and says that, okay, you need to do it like this, right? So what would have happened after that? No one shared anything else. So once the CTO said, okay, this is the direction we'll be taking, the rest, there was silence. And when I was sitting observing this thing, I felt like kind of a hippo effect. So hippo effect is higher. You might have heard about the pink elephant in the room, which is no one is talking, but this was a kind of a hippo effect, highest paid person's opinion. Since the CTO was the highest paid person opinion in that room, once that person has shared the thought, no one else in the team wanted to thought to say something different. And that was for me a moment of aha. I mean, it's like, hey, why does this happen? Is that we talk a lot about psychological safety. We talk a lot about empowerment and inclusion, but when we get into real decision making, then whoever is the highest person in the power or influence just says it, and everyone follows it. And then I started reading about MEC Emotson work, which is on psychological safety, fearless organization. And I hope many of you might be able to understand, relate to the Aristotle project from Google, where they mentioned that the psychological safety is one of the key ingredient to make the team more effective. But I'm not taking that road. You might have already read about it or heard about it. But what I want to share in this workshop is some of the things that I have tried and tested with several teams. So first is the type of the team. Let me hide these things because then they will make more sense. So the type of the team. Recently, I had an experience there where I was working with a team. I was working with one more coach, and we both of them, we were three actually. We three were working together to help a team become an effective team, a self-managed team, an empowered team. But after working with them for some time, we realized that if they really need to be a team or not. Now, my question to you is: this is the participation part. Think about a team that you are working with right now. If you are working as a team leader or if you're working as a team member, and create a sticky note where you think they are in this quadrant. For example, if you are in the quadrant 1, it means that they don't have any common goal, but they need it. They need each other. So in the quadrant 2, they need each other, and they also have a common goal. And the quadrant 3 is like, okay, they don't need each other much, but they have a common goal. And the quadrant 4 is they don't need each other and they don't have any common goal. So please, I can create some sticky notes like this. You can just write down your initials, like any letter, and put it into the respective quadrants. So let's give 1 minute to do this activity. All right, half a minute left. Put a sticky note in the relevant quadrant where you think your team is. Do they need each other? And if they have a common goal. All right, thanks to those who are doing it. All right, so the time is up. Just let me know if you need more time. Why are we doing this activity is just to understand what is the team, if they are working together, if they are a group of people or they're really a team, and if they need each other. Now I would like 1 or 2 persons to share wherever you have put your sticky note. Either you can share your thoughts in the chat, or another brilliant way is to just unmute yourself and share why you have put your team where it is right now. So let's hear 1 or 2 people. Let's listen to their thoughts. Either you can share in the chat, or you can just simply unmute and start sharing. All right. Let's. Okay. What is question 2? So the question is, those of you who have shared, put the sticky notes here. Would you briefly explain why you have put them into the relevant in the quadrants? That is the question.
Sure, I'll share. It's Cam. I put our quadrant in the bottom corner, real tiny note there, and I think lack of common goal. Like, it's not, there's some, but everybody sort of goes their own path. We all have private agendas, and how do you make that more effective?
All right, thanks, Cam, for sharing. I can hear 1 more person. There's nothing wrong and right. It's just to listen to your thought. What are you thinking?
Sure. So Kuram, I'll jump in for that. So we actually operate on a microservice architecture. So what that essentially means is one engineer would own basically 1 or 2 of these services. So there is no real dependency, but everyone does work towards the final feature, right? So there is no dependency on each service or each other, but they do work towards like a common goal of releasing a feature or releasing an epic.
Right. Thank you for sharing. And when are you working as a Scrum Master or any position? My suggestion will be to understand what is the group that you are working with, because then it will help you to understand how you should be engaging with them. It might happen that they don't need each other, and you're pushing them to self-organize. You're pushing them to self-manage, and you're pushing them to have these kind of ceremonies. What will happen? That will not help you. It will neither help you nor help the team, but they will feel agitated. They will feel like you're just trying to, you have your own agenda and you're pushing that agenda. Now, the next picture I want to reveal is this picture. So I can zoom out. And so those of you who have put on the quadrant 2, it means that you are working together as a team. And there are always possibilities and opportunity to improve the team. But those of you who are in the quadrant 3, they are like solo team, is that they might have a common goal, however they might not need each other. I was working with the user research team, and they were helping different teams. So when I worked with them, they said that we do have a common goal, but we don't need each other so much that we have to do all the planning and execution and all those other reviews and retrospective. And they, at the end of the day, their goal was common, to help the teams and the bigger organization when it comes to the user research and UI and US needs. And those of they are like, who don't have any common goal and they don't need each other, they're just co-worker. It could be people working from different department. They might have not direct common goal, and I mean, even though they might have a common goal at the organizational level, but they are just there to get their work done and then just leave. They don't have a direct dependency on each other. So here is another one which is called the temporary alliance. Is that, hey, we don't have a common goal, but we need to work together to get things done. One example I can think of is working with the IT people. We don't share any common goal which is related to my team, but I need you to set up this system and other servers, or what other requirements are to get things done. So here you can understand if the people you are working together, or they are group or a team, and then you need to adjust how you can help them and support them in a different way. So moving forward is team as a living system. So what usually happens is oftentimes, same with the fish metaphor in mind, we focus too much on the fish, because we are seeing the human beings. We are seeing that, hey, why this person is not busy, why this person is not doing anything, and we miss the surroundings around it. And team as a living system, what I mean by that, whenever someone new joins a team, the dynamics in the team changes. If someone leaves in the team, the dynamics in the team changes. So have you ever been in a situation where you have been working together with a person, and the person has left the team or the company? That makes you sad, because what has happened is that person was contributing something to that systemic view of the team. So sometimes they are like big voices in the team, sometimes they are very intelligent people in the team. All of a sudden you are discussing a problem, and they can come and present you a different view. So when those people are not there, then that's different. Hey, if this person was here, we could have reached out to the different result. Now, again, we will be doing this activity, and what I would like you to do is keep, and the metaphor here is like the people are as a kind of a working together as a team. They might have their own challenge, and there are some challenges that they are facing in from their environment. And what I would like you to do is, please, the team that you are working with right now, or the team that you have worked with in the past, identify what are their internal challenges and what are their external challenges. So the question is here, what I would like you to do is identify the challenges, the teams that you're working with right now, identify what are the internal challenges and what are the external challenges. Right? We can do that. Okay, so let's do that. If we need more space, I can easily do that. I can create some sticky notes, so you don't need to write. So you can actually everything will be shared. So you can also actually zoom in and zoom out in the mural board. So apologies if I was not clear. You can use this setting here, so you can zoom in or zoom out easily from the board. Yeah, I hope that was helpful. Yeah, so people have started putting internal challenges. Let me put a timer on it, 1 minute timer. Let's put 1 minute to start with, and see how many challenges we can identify. Yeah. And I don't know, I will check with Jewel. I can also export this board, and hopefully it will be shared with the participants afterward. Yeah.
Sure, Guram. Once we're done with the session, you can export it and add it to the chat. The
Yeah,
link to the
I
chat,
can do that. No worries. That can be
sure.
done.
And the admins can blast it as well across.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, this is good enough. The whole purpose of why I'm time boxing this activity is that we can focus and share our thoughts in that time box. Again, it will be brilliant if one or two person can, or even more, can share like, hey, you mentioned about politics, or you mentioned about not prioritize, or you mentioned about direction from the senior management. Okay, would you like to share your story? What happened there? So invitation here is unmute yourself and share your thoughts.
If anyone is having trouble finding where to add audio and video, there's a blue button on top of the screen next to the leave red button. Once you select that, you can join in with your audio and video.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, someone has joined with a lot of energy. Yes, so please unmute because I can also rest from talking. So share, what have you written and what is the story behind it?
Good morning. This is Andrea in the Bahamas. I'll share.
Yeah, please. Thank you, Andrea.
I wrote that the team that I work with, I recently joined this team, and it was a lack of communication because it wasn't a co-located team. Everyone was located in different parts of the world, and everyone was an independent contractor. So it wasn't a typical team. Everyone knew their job function, and they was just working in that capacity as an independent contractor. And when I joined the team as the agile project manager slash scrum master, I just used the first few weeks for observation to see how the business really was structured and to get an understanding before I started to suggest any changes. And one of the first things that I suggested to help the team is to have a team meeting for everyone to get to know each other. Because the owners were instructing me to give the team instructions, and I was like, I can't do that because I was not formally introduced to anyone. So I told them, I said, even though we are in different time zones and relocated all over the world, that doesn't mean that we can't find a mutually convenient time to have one team meeting where we just get to know each other and know what everyone's job functions are. So when we start having communications, it doesn't feel as though you're just getting these orders from some random computer and you don't know that person. And that was one of the first things I did. And then another thing I did was that as a scrum master, I thought it was important for me to have one-on-one relationships with everyone. And so I started building that psychological safety with them so that when I monitor their work, they could always call me or message me on WhatsApp. So I open up a channel of communication to have that constant stream. So even though we may not be a typical team, the working environment feels like a team because we always have that central point of communication, and then I'm branching out where everyone could talk to everyone else. So more or less the breaking down the silos to know that the work is not just for one person, it's for everyone. And when there's handoff, you want to have that line of communication open. And I think on the external challenge, I put like technological issues and a lot of power cuts because I'm on an island and we have a lot of power outages. And then sometimes with the internet is unstable. So it's just difficult working with a team that's not in the same building And those are some of the challenges that we face.
Yeah, thank you very much for sharing that, Andrea. Uh, there is always something. And remember, how did you feel after sharing these challenges with us? How was the feeling after you shared it?
Well, I feel like those are not really challenges that I can't overcome to a
Mhm.
certain extent, but it's good to share.
Yeah, very right. You that is the segue to the next activity. But uh, remember, um, well, going back to the same fish metaphor, is that uh, sometimes what I have seen the dysfunction with the new scrum masters or the new team leaders is that they have the knowledge, but they are they are struggling with how to make other people understand. They only focus on, okay, we need to have these ceremonies, we need to have these events, or we need to have these meetings. But what you mentioned on this, like, what are the different things that can be done to set up as a communication channel with the team to build some connection? That is not happening. And then the people are scratching their head, is like, hey, why are we unable to achieve what we wanted to achieve? So why I'm doing this activity is that to help you understand that these are the smaller activities that you can do even with your teams, right? So it might be that, hey, a team, let's sit together and have a conversation about what are the challenges that we are facing in within our team. And some other people have mentioned about multitasking. If multitasking is an internal challenge, then is it helping us or it's creating more problem for us? Why this multitasking is happening? Are we asked to do more, or we consider it as an octopus, or what has changed that is asking us to do multitasking? A lack of vision and mission. If the team members have mentioned that lack is a vision, let's try to have a conversation how having a mission and a vision can help the team. Because what I have seen, some people are, it's not their need, but that's more of their wish. But is that really a need or not? I wish to go to the moon, okay, but going to the moon, how it will help solve the challenges? I want to have a faster server. I want to have the fancy thing in the team. But what exactly they are trying to have? So, in a nutshell, um, what I'm trying to hint to is have a similar activity with your team and try to have a conversation with them. And as Andrea mentioned, uh, first of all, you need to understand what are the things that you can do and what are the things that you cannot do. And once this conversation is happening, what I have observed is that people relax a bit more. They are like visualizing. For example, if we are working together as a team and we have visualized all these things, at least what is happening, you as a team are looking into the challenges together, not sitting in your silos, and contributing toward the team effectiveness. So the Cam has mentioned it, like, is an elephant in the room polluting the water? Toxic leadership. Interesting. I mean, toxic culture is driving the great resignation. Yeah. So Cam has shared some interesting reference there. So that is the same. The water in the tank. If you want to be a great leader or if you want to be a great scrum master, of course you need to have the focus on the fish, but you should have even more focus on the water that the fish is surviving. If that water is toxic or if it's not cleaned now and then, if the bad behaviors are not addressed now and then what will happen? People leave. And that is the reason I asked you this question, is that what is the best team that you have worked with, right? Because you as a team might be functioning very, very nicely together. But when it comes to the water part or the culture part, that's where the problems start happening. And that's what I asked you this question. Because this question is not only related to the team, but it is also related to the organization that you're working with. So what we are doing so far, we're just trying to dissect this team dynamics and the organization step by step. Now we looked at this team as a living system, and from my experience, what I have seen is that people just want to be heard. And when they are communicated, what are things are in our influence and what are the things not in our influence, they can make sense of it. But at least they will help you to have a common goal and a common need. So now we have been talking here for a while. Do you have any questions? Any questions which are like you want to ask right now before we jump into the next part? Yeah, so Andrea shared that people want to be heard so they can feel seen and valued. And if people are not being, they don't feel that they're not valued, they might leave. Yeah. So any question that you might have so far?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, how important do you think it is to keep making persons feel that the work that they're doing is valuable? Like, I work with a team, and the owners were more focused, or their whole concept was managing people. That my job is to manage people, and I kept reiterating to them that I don't manage people. I manage work, and I care about people who are doing the work. And I know that psychological safety plays a huge role, but I think that in the work that we do as Scrum Masters, when you show people that you care, it makes them more productive. I think I've seen people become more productive because if they share with you that they had a death in their family and they weren't able to meet a deadline, and you go irate on them and say, well, you notice that this deadline was so important, we had to hit this deadline, this you jeopardized the team, versus you showing compassion and saying, well, sincere condolences, how can I help, don't worry about the deadline, we'll always find a way to make it up. It makes a huge difference in productivity. And I think that's a shift between an agile working environment and the traditional way how it used to be. Like, it's more concerned for human beings versus the work. So do you find that, like, having that mindset makes a huge difference?
Yeah, I mean, if you're asking me, I was just when you were sharing that experiences, and I was just trying to reflect, have a personal reflection. Uh, I think it's a kind of a direction. If the work that you're doing, that it has a value, it gives you a lot of energy. And I can share one example. It was one of the team I was working with. The person joined. It was a new person, very talented, very experienced. So because of the organizational changes and the project that we were working with, that person ended up doing the maintenance work. And after 2 months, the guy left. So I asked him, hey, what happened? You have been doing really good work. And the person shared that, hey, I felt not valued. I felt like the work I was doing is boring for me. So I don't have any second opinion on, Andrea, what you share. Like, if the work that you're doing is meaningful and you think it's adding some value, uh, that's a lot of energy you have there already there. Yeah. And connecting back to the Aristotle project, is the meaningful is also there. The work that you're doing is meaningful. For example, if you're all of us are here, let's suppose in this workshop, you might have thought about getting some value, right? So it's all about being valued for your time. Yeah, so I might keep on talking, but I don't know, I don't want to overstretch it, but I don't have any other opinion. But might be interesting if someone else want to share the thought there.
Kuram, I actually have a very interesting situation. So, when I joined my organization, the team was quite chaotic in their delivery, right? And as a result, all the C-level, top to bottom, were in a daily call, checking and monitoring this team. As we went through a re-implementation of Scrum, the teams started working well together and they started delivering well, right? And the product actually matured really well, and the team also matured. The agile maturity went up, and they have been delivering consistently. But what happened is now leadership don't actually look at the project as much. because they are looking at other product issues and other team that aren't doing as well, right? But I feel because of the fact that the leadership is not looking at the project anymore, that's also impacting the team. I mean, yes, I think in terms of job safety and the team's delivery, yes, they're delivering well. It's been consistent because there's good practices going on. But now what's happening is it's like a leadership neglect, where unless something goes wrong, there's no one actually looking at that product. What kind of situation is that, or advice do you have for that?
Yeah. Okay. So this is another question. I mean, what I have seen and experienced is that whenever you shift focus away from the people, your product will start. The quality of the product will start degrading there. If you don't feel motivated, if you don't feel valued, uh, I think it's a human thing. We are like a social creature. People love to be heard. So that is one of the key things that I have learned in my journey is that when someone is wants to share, let them share. And when you see that some persons are unable to perform to their best, connect with them. Unfortunately, what is happening is that the focus only becomes if this fish is performing or not, but the focus doesn't happen that, hey, this used to be a great person, this person has delivered a lot of interesting work, but what is happening right now, that connection is not happening. So in my from the thing that I have been doing is like keeping an eye on the team members, and telling them, hey, um, I have been observing these things, that the last time there was a lot of energy in this meeting, but this time it's not there. So my what I can share is like, I think whoever is the leadership, you need to not forget the people part. And if people are not motivated, I don't understand how you will be able to get work done. I don't know. I don't really understand that aspect. And that is, I think, might become people leaving your team or leaving your organization. Yeah. But let's move forward. For thanks for sharing, those of you who are sharing. I want to mention this. If you have heard about this drama triangle, so it's Cartman drama triangle, and these are very very simple tools. I have been in a way that has helped me to like kind of a new look into the team. So it has three edges. One is the victim, rescuer, and persecutor. So now just help me understand. If you agree, if you have seen this behavior, just mention in the chat. So the victim is a kind of a person who's always in a problem, who's always in trouble. Oh, my system is not working, the website is crashing, the code is not compiling, the other person is not helping me, the team member from the testing team is not helping me. Have you been can one person, yeah, I'll come to that point. So the victim is some kind of a it's a behavior that is always complaining. On the other hand, the rescuer is the guy who's a person who says that, okay, you don't need to worry about something, I can help you. Rescuer is sometimes become the scrum master is sometimes a rescuer. If the developers are having some issues, the rescuer or the scrum master goes there and tell them, okay, I can help you, let's talk with this person and that person, rather than helping them to understand the problem so they can solve on their own. The scrum master or a rescuer just goes there and help. And these are the people who really love to be helping, but when they're helping, they're creating a big dysfunction. They become an impediment into the team development. So in the persecutor are the behaviors that they don't set their expectation, and whenever you present to them any thoughts, any ideas, they always downgrade you. So the Cartman said that these are some of the attributes or the behaviors or whatever name you want to say it, is now coming back to the question that Andrea mentioned, that yes, it is possible that sometimes you are always complaining, and you might also be helping, and you'll also be like degrading someone else. But the point of reference here, why I want to bring this up, is from the team dynamic perspective. Is that if you're working closely with this team, how often do you see that you are behaving as a victim? And now this is a question to you. And if you want to share, I mean, this might become a kind of a personal thing. Is that when do you feel like behaving as a victim, and when do you feel like behaving as a rescuer, and when have you feel like behaving as a persecutor? Anyone wants to share that this is more of a personal behavior that you have been doing? You can share in the chat, or just unmute and say it. Yeah. So rescuer Pradija says that rescuer trying to fix things. So again, thanks for sharing. First of all, this is also another lens to look at the team members. Who are the rescuers in the team? Who are the victims in the team? And who are the persecutor in the team? And then how you can help them and how you can coach them to not act as a victim. Andrea says, I try not to be persecutor. I avoid being a victim and always trying to be rescuer. Cam shared that all too often I suspect, like the rescuer role, I suspect a few of us live in that space. Yeah, because helping other is very honorable and very easy to do. I mean, even some people don't want to do it, but there's some kind of a special energy about it. But remember, when you're over helping, for example, if you're teaching your kid how to tie the laces on the shoes, if you don't teach the kid to how to tie the laces, how do you expect the kid will learn it? So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes try to have a balance of it. When do you need to help the team, and when you should not help the team? So then they can self manage, because isn't it your mission to make them self manage? And if you don't let them, if you don't give them the space, then how will you do that? Yeah. So Andre has an example. Please go ahead, share it.
Okay, me again. I feel like I'm dominating, but anyways, my example is that when I joined this new team, there was a member who the owners disclosed to me that they were considering letting him go because his performance was slipping. And I told him, I said, listen, before you make that decision, give me an opportunity to work one-on-one with him to find out what's going on with him, to see if there's personal challenges that are causing his work to not be at the level they were used to. And so what I did is I set up one-on-one weekly meetings with him, and I started to track his workload. And then I would always communicate with him. And I said, okay, a deadline's coming up. Are you going to meet this deadline, or do you need me to shift it for a day or two for you? And his performance has drastically increased since I started working with him. And he actually even got a raise this month. So, it's like I didn't really feel as though I was a rescuer to that extent. I just felt like they said he was a very valuable team member, that his level of working was always so high, and that he just started to show where his performance was dropping. So I didn't feel as though I saved his job. I just felt like he was not feeling as though he was a valued member of the team, that he lacked that interaction, and that he was working in a silo, and he was just probably distracted by other things going on in his life. But when I started to have that one-on-one interaction with him, he said it made a big difference. Like, he looks forward to those weekly meetings, and he loves to send me updates about what he did, and he's excited about the work. So it's, sometimes we just need to show a little bit more concern for our team members, and not just think that they don't know how to do the work, but that they just feel as though they're isolated and they need someone to help them along.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Andrea. I just recalled from Simon uh, hire for the attitude. People can learn the skills. So what you share is like is the same reflection for me, is that whenever you see these behaviors, connect with the people and try to understand what are the internal challenges they are going through. And I really, you made me laugh, Pradya. uh, she left a comment: we do our kids homework feeling the teachers will punish them. This can be applied to the personal situation as well. You're very right, I would say. Is that even if it's a scrum master, I'm not saying not to help people. What I'm trying to put a point is there: have the intention to help so the person can grow as well. If we keep on doing our kids homework and they don't realize it, how why it's important for them, um, then they won't do it. So sometimes help them in a way with the growth opportunity as well for them. Otherwise, they will keep coming for help. So the another way to put it is like, give them the fish the first or the two times, but also tell them how to fish. So what is happening? You are enabling those people, and trust me, they will be very, very grateful. I remember when I started this journey, I'm really grateful to the people who gave me the opportunity to do these workshops and many other things. And then they gave me the feedback. So they were not only rescuing me, but also enabling me how I can grow further. But just to summarize this, the team in drama is, um, this tool can help you to understand what are the different team dynamics going on in this team. And the most important thing is like how you need to position yourself. You don't need to put yourself as a victim, but if you are also feeling as a victim, then how these things will emerge. Now, just to you might have realized that so far we have been talking a lot about the teams and teams and teams. But here is one thing that I would like to mention, is building your own competence. If you, it's like before helping others, you need to put on your own oxygen mask. So when I was working, when my keep on sharing my thoughts is like, the reason is to share the experiences, is that um, you need to have those skills or competencies in place to help others. So when I started my journey, I was facing some challenges: how to read the emotions in the team, how to understand what is going on in the team. And that was just like, I was seeing the fish, I was working with the team daily, but I was unable to see the water. And that was a kind of understanding for me how I can see the water and try to understand why and how much this water is important uh, to for the fish, and why the team culture and the organization culture, the daily communication, the daily interaction is very important for you. So I don't know how when people are like greeting each other, how's the energy there? So I would like to this is the same. This is another activity that we are doing it on the mural board. You don't need to write your initial. If you want to write down your initials, and if you want to share, that will be more will be excellent. So I have put two questions there. What competency you are using the most with your current team, right? And the second question is, where do you want to grow? So grab a sticky note. I can just create a few more and put them into the relevant quadrant. So let's time box this activity for 1 minute. Yeah. So the question is, create a sticky note and put into the relevant quadrant for these two questions. All right, thanks for doing that. We could have used the space outside those sticky notes, but that's totally fine. But now my question is the same. Is like, please unmute yourself or share your thoughts in the chat. Um, why did you put there? So let's take the question number one there. Anyone who would like to share like which competency you are using the most with your current team? We see it on the board. If you would like to share. Okay, nevertheless. So why are we doing this activity? As I explained earlier, is sometimes we have only a hammer and everything looks like a nail. When you are on this agile coaching journey or leadership journey, you need to understand, you need to create more self-awareness. With every different team that you're working with, you might need a different skill set, or you might need to have a different approach. The more teams that I'm working with, I had a different approach. The in-person teams I worked with, I had a different approach, and I did not. No one told me. I learned by after failing a few times. It's like why it is happening. What is the reason that we are unable to deliver something? What is happening in the communication? So what can be done differently in the facilitation? What can be done differently in the coaching? So in the next thing that I would like to highlight is this picture. Think of the team coaching or as agile coach like a painter in this picture right now. You have so many colors in your hand, and you need to see what are the different colors you need right now that you can make a stroke and it looks nice on the team. Some people I have observed, they are over coaching. They say that since the team is self-managing, they need to do everything. That is not true. If I ask you to be innovative right now, I mean, how can you be innovative? There are always boundaries for innovation, and that's where people fell into the dysfunction of over coaching or over facilitating or over teaching. This is something in the competence map. You need to understand what is your strength right now that you're helping the team, and what is something that you think that it will help you to grow even more. Do you think it will be facilitation, or do you think it will be having more one-on-one conversation, just like Andrea mentioned, or I should focus more on the teaching part? Yeah, so there's a chat. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing your names correctly. There is a comment: if the team traditionally groomed and created their own culture due to the different past leadership styles, by keeping in mind they are talented, good individuals, but emotionally attached to each other, where they see what they is correct, how to rescue them from the toxic environment. Okay, I mean, it will be great if you can explain with a scenario, that will be nice. But this is very traditional association with the past leadership. But do you have any situation in mind or context in mind? That will be brilliant too, so I can answer it in the right way then.
Sure. I just like see one of the teams that I recently taken over. So so they've been groomed from like you can. I'm audible, right?
Yeah, we can hear you. Thank you for doing
yeah,
that.
cool. Yeah, cool. So like they've been grown from like intern level to the current level of like the the senior positions. The thing is like they've been together for so many years, so they have like their own mindsets and the ecosystem been built inside. Okay. So saying that these individuals have really good insights and skill set, but the thing is like they don't see any good pictures, like because they've been in the internship level to this level. So now they are just like reluctant for like changes. So they are slowly changing, but thing is like the phase is bit slower because they have like tight emotional attachment to each other. So even though if they see there's something wrong at one of their team members, they would try to cover it up, or they try to save the team kind of thing. But sometimes it can come to really with a bad risk at the end of the day. So that's what I meant. So talking,
Yeah.
I just want to get these intellectual guys out um, towards the light, actually. So that's what I want to know.
All right. So I mean, if I understand your question correctly, so there are people who have been working together for a while, and they're connected with each other. And now what is happening is that if someone makes a mistake, the other team members follow them up, right? Or cover them up. Did I understand your question correctly?
Yes,
Okay.
rather than they know that there's something wrong, but rather than letting others to empower for towards the good.
Yeah. So if those behaviors are happening, first of all, it depends on like what is your position in the team. If you are a team member, or if you're a scrum master, or you're manager, or you're leading that team, how I have done it earlier is to always connect them with working agreements. So for the first thing that I did before starting this workshop was to kind of have a workshop agreements with each other, that hey, these are the something that I feel like I have some kind of expectations on you, and if someone else has something to say, and everyone thumbs up and they say that everything is good. And I think if you're really connected with each other, then people should not be covering each other for their faults, but helping them instead. So what I mean by that is, for example, let's take a very example is that, so there are some experts in the coding, and they don't review it, they don't send it for the PR review, and they said everything is fine. So what is happening is that you are creating a blind spot. So if I was a good team member and a good emotional connect with that person, I think might be able to have a one-on-one conversation with that person and try to make a point is that this is not helping the person and this is not helping the team. So I'm happy to hear if there are different thoughts in the room, but my suggestion will be to keep it open and honest, because if that is not there, then with the passage of the time, it will create more dysfunction. Yeah.
Chatura, just a thought from my side. It may have to do with the risk tolerance of the company. So, if issue is being very highly penalized, maybe that's the reason everyone is trying to cover it up. But if like making issues, having bugs is accepted, and change and correction is encouraged, then I think people will be more open to grooming that way, right? It's just a thought.
Yeah. So I mean, we could have here more thoughts, but in a nutshell, uh, um, hiding one problem will create more problems, bigger problem in the long run.
I agree.
So my suggestion will be to be very open and honest. I can share that recently there was a higher level manager doing some interesting things in the team meeting. So I reached out. The person was giving a lot of directions and shooting the ideas. So I reached out to the person. I had a good relation with the person. I reached out to the person later and said, "Hey, man, I noticed you were doing this in that meeting, and I felt like that was not making people happy, and that was not effective. So this is an observation I want to share with you. It's totally up to you to accept it, reject it, or disregard it. But as a colleague of yours, as we have known each other for some time, this is something I wanted to communicate to you. Otherwise, if you that might create a bigger problem. But now we have, I think, 2 minutes left. And this is the last part I would like to do. If I zoom out, what we have been doing, oh, there's a lot of zoom out. So what we have been doing is trying to dissect how the team looked like. It was a kind of an onion. When you peel off onion, it can make you cry in the real world. But when you're working with the team, it can also make you cry because things might not work as the planned way. So we started looking at the system. We looked at the best attributes of the system, of the team that you are working with. And we saw that what are the reasons that people don't speak up. And then if the team that you're working with, if they are the right people, and how you need to position yourself to better help them. Then we looked into the team's internal and external challenges. We looked into this. We looked into the competencies that you need to help the teams in a better way. These are not the only four, but there might be many more. And then we looked into the drama triangle as well. So Chatura, this you might want to look at this is drama triangle in detail, because that can help you. That might help that team how to work in a more effective way. And then you search on Cartman drama triangle, and then can help you. And this is my intention was to present simple tools, and I have a feeling that I think you can use all the tools with the team. You can have a conversation with the working agreements. You can talk about the fish in the tank. You can talk about what are the best attributes we have in the team and how we are working together as a team. What are our internal and external challenges, and what are the different competencies we need in the team to work together as an effective team. So all the tools that you have worked with today, or the models, you can directly work with the team. And now the last thing I would like to mention is it will be great if you can share what has been your takeaway from this session. So I will stop sharing, and it will be great to hear some thoughts from you guys. Yeah, I will. How do I stop sharing? Yeah. And meanwhile, if there are any questions, how much time do we have, Joel, for it?
We don't have any time, Kuram.
Okay.
We've finished the session, but I think if you want, we'll give a minute more for the feedback. Is that okay? If anyone would like to give their thoughts.
Yeah. So if you can leave your in the mural board, I can bring everyone. Someone here. So whoever is here, leave your key takeaways from it, and then I would like to thank you, Yuval, and the Region Scrum Gathering Sri Lanka team for inviting me here. I think it's a pleasure to be here sharing my knowledge and experiences. And thank you for those. You might have been doing other things, but you prefer to join this session, which is great. And there is always a new learning from each other. Yeah. Thank you. And
thanks, Kuram. Thank you so much.
Back to you, then.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kuram. It was a very enlightening session, and definitely I'll be using some of the tools you have walked us through. I'm also going to steal your goldfish explanation. I thank you everyone else for taking the time to join as well. The next session is going to be a lightning talk on, you can join it on the stage by Stephen Matthew on the Scrum Master, the Agile Coach, the Release Train Engineer, are all the same, but the context is different. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. See you some other time.